want them to have it, but it's they're holding on us to make sure that it's run properly.
Please, I'm not seeking to be in dispute, I'm just making a statement.
Well, I think that is the most important thing about it, is that it's all about the children, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Can I ask a question, Chairman?
Of course.
Is the, how many children attend, or what's the maximum number of children attend the club, do we know?
The form gives no indication of how many they had last year. The insured certificate that we've been provided, I don't think mentions a number.
Yeah, up to 50.
Oh, up to 50,
Up to
yeah.
50.
And that's repeated on the form. Adult helpers 8 to 10, maximum 50 children per day.
So my question is, against teasing this out, is the fact that we've got 5 members of staff that have got DBS checks, and we've got up to 50 children who may attend, and if one person doesn't have, if one person falls ill,
i.e. Jill,
then
she's
there's
not
a
able to.
possibility of shortage of people that are DBS police checked who will cover the number of children that we may have attending. I'm just thinking, just teasing this out. I think that we don't need to see sight of I don't think we need to see sight of the DBS checks. Well, I think that with a name comes usually a number or something, so it's just a name with a number, which is usually good enough. I suppose my question, my concern is of the other people that are volunteering at this event, how many of those have DBS checks? Because I think that's incumbent on this council, if it's going to be funding, to ensure, as the prime function of this organisation is to look after children,
Absolutely.
that the people attending or working or volunteering at this event actually all have DBS checks.
Exactly.
And I think it's just, I feel I need to know a name with a number.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think that's a minimum requirement. And I think because it's incumbent on this council to ensure that we follow a sort of child protection.
Yeah.
I consider that as
It's a reasonable request. I can't see anything on that.
It occurs to me about responsibility. Our commitment is to support, by means of £500, this project. Our responsibility is to make sure that this £500 is not misused in any way. Is that where our responsibility ends? Because as far as I can see, the responsibility then falls to the organiser, which in this case will be the Susie Jacks. So it is incumbent upon her to ensure that all the conditions, regulations and any other requirements are complied with and not this council's.
The thing is, like, it's it's public money, and it is our responsibility to make sure it's spent properly.
Yes.
Point number one. And I think, as a council, we should take a responsibility for the whole village, especially the children, and we must make sure that these children are properly looked after.
But that would mean that we would run it.
Well, no, it doesn't.
Well, how can we have a responsibility for something we don't control?
Can I come back and just say, I think there's 2 words, and there's one word we haven't, sorry, there's 2 words. One is responsibility, which we have a responsibility to the children. The other thing is a liability.
Yes.
Now, they're 2 different words I think we've got to look at, but also, equally, what can we do as a parish council to help the organisers that might be just a little bit, say, naive or not sure? How can we help them? But by helping them, we're telling them what they've got to do, but we've also got to give them a time frame coming, but the summer's not that far away. So, sorry, Janice.
I suppose, as well as responsibility and liability, if we give money to a project, in the main, the projects aren't looking after children. They're, like various things that we give grants to, Harrietsham Parish, etc. I think that whatever money we give to a group that is running a fun club, we are then linked to that, we are then supporting it. And if we are not 100% satisfied that it is safe and that everything is being done correctly, and I don't think that the information we've got, especially the finance, allows us to do that, then I cannot vote to give money because I am not completely satisfied.
Well, I think back to the point that and I think there's been some really good points kind of raised tonight, because this is all about the interest of the children. And third, the main interest is we want the kids to have something to do. That's our mission, and that was pointed out by Fred, but it's got to be, everything's about rules and regulations now, isn't it?
No, I've got no question about the staff members that I know that are attending it and their professionalism and their ability to do it, and I don't think anyone here has got any question about that. The names I've seen are quite capable and well-respected members of this community. I think the problem I have is the fact there are additional members, volunteers, that are that we don't know who they are.
Well, last year they had 11 volunteers.
And I just, if there's people associated with running a club, they should be named and they should have DBS. That's the bottom line as far as I am concerned. And I think it's incumbent on us as an organisation to ensure at the very least that is the case. And I don't think that's particularly a difficult task, nor I don't think it's something that
It's just a list of names.
I think that the parents
and
out there in
numbers.
the community would expect us giving £500 to this organisation to ensure that the kids that go to it are safe. And the staff members I know that are named are perfectly reasonable, perfectly capable of doing a really good job. But I think we need to know who the other volunteers are, and the fact they have DBS. In fact, I will not support anything that hasn't got that.
Yeah.
So I think we should know those names and those DBS numbers.
But in terms of the help, I think that there are questions that do need to be raised.
Yes.
So if we can get an email across to the organiser of whoever the organiser may be. Well, firstly, the most important question is to find out whether the person who's going to lead the club is in any sort of kind of fit state, because there's going to be an issue there.
Well, it
Because
is.
you do need a leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know whether anybody knows the individual on a quite a personal basis.
I've met Jill just once, so I don't talk to
I
her.
saw her the last 2 days
Yeah.
because I dropped the fish magazine through her door, and I took the opportunity to tap on the door and ask how she was. She's certainly still quite poorly, although thankfully seemed a little brighter than the last time I saw her, which was probably 2 weeks ago. But clearly, as you say, Mr. Chairman, the time frame between now and the proposed date for running the club is ticking on, and also our decision in order to give the club adequate time to make their arrangements is ticking on. So I think it's a reasonable question to ask.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, when the paperwork was provided to the financial officer as to, the makeup of it all,
Yes.
then I suggest to you that Jill Bishop's name was not put down by herself, but it was put down by Susie Jack. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, Susie Jack should therefore be able to tell us who can take over in her absence.
Here.
I suppose teasing that through, Mr. Chairman, is the fact that there should be a leader and a deputy leader. There should be a child protection officer within the club.
Yes.
And I think that those basics are the requirements. And I think that it's almost, in respect, I feel the money is almost a little bit immaterial, really.
It is.
I think it's about the fact that is the organisation running a safe ship, and certainly the 5 people I know are very capable of doing that. But I think we just need to tease out the fact that there are certain safeguards, even around the policies. I think that needs to be beefed up quite significantly. We can help Jill with that if necessary. But I think it's about child protection, safeguarding the children, making sure the parents out there know that we give money to an organisation that's going to actually fit for purpose. And I'm certain it's going to be fit for purpose.
By giving the money, you take on an element of liability, don't
Well,
you? So whether it's £5 or
Yeah.
£5, absolutely.
But the original opening statement to this was about Jill Bishop not being able to be.
Well, I'm
Which we
just
don't
flagging
know.
up that she's
Yes.
very poorly.
Quite.
I mean, she might well be fit enough.
Quite.
I hope
So
she is.
therefore, as Fred quite rightly puts it, We need a person of responsibility that is going to take liability and responsibility for
We need
the
to-
actions.
we need to
Of
know.
course.
Exactly.
Yes, which, so in the first instance, we need to know what Jill's indication before we, she might say, look, I'm making a full recovery. And I'm
Yes,
looking
even
forward to
so.
that. Yes,
Even so. Well, hopefully, Jill say, yeah, I'll be fine.
yeah.
Okay, but supposing you slip and fall, who is your number two with who's your deputy, who is your what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, we need that information, and I agree 100% with what Councillor Sanders
Can I
just said.
just ask something else? Does this fall under Ofsted by any chance? No, they don't, no.
No, we clarify
Some
that
clubs,
it's
yeah,
because
that's
of
all right.
the age of children and the amount of time it's running.
Right.
It's not
Okay.
Ofsted
Oh, I
because
see.
Well,
Always
that's
get quite
yeah.
confused with Ofsted.
But going back to the original concerns about the X amount of children, with my
Absolutely.
members of staff, there's a certain ratio that we need to be happy that's going to be
Yes.
covered by a DBS check.
Is there a legal ratio? Do you know? There is. What is that ratio?
I think it's 1 to 8 if they're under a certain age, but then it's 1 to 10 if they're mixed.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
5 or 6 actually does fit the bill, assuming they're here all the time and there's no sickness and.
That's
Yeah.
that's the point,
Yes.
the fact that you can't guarantee there will be no sickness or someone else, some other family responsibility comes up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but others coming in
Need to,
should be DBS
yeah,
checked.
Oh,
I
yes.
mean, it's all very well
Okay.
having that ratio, but then if there's 5 people, you say we've had names of 5 people, but last year there were 11 volunteers, so who are the other 6?
Yeah. So, okay, so the letter that goes, obviously, as soon as possible to the organisers, Mike, I don't know whether you've made notes of the questions that would, so if you can just raise those questions. There was one thing that we didn't mention, which really comes back to yourself, with you suggested that you're not over happy with the accounts.
I just feel if that's all they've got, their financial management's not great. And if they've got more, why haven't they given us?
It's not a deal breaker, is it?
No, but I would suggest if we do end up giving this money, we specify that we want proper income expenditure
Okay.
accounts. And
I wondered if Jackie would be so kind as to ask Jill Bishop who is her assistant,
That's
to try and cut down the time that
I'm not going to step up to do that because I don't want to find myself in an uncomfortable place between my personal relationship and any professional relationship. So I merely commented that I'd seen her. Yeah, I merely commented that I'd seen her to really give the committee an update.
I would suggest that since all previous dealings at this point have been with Susie Jack,
Yeah.
then I email Susie Jack.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to email the organisers,
Yeah.
Susie, clarifying the names of all volunteers and their DBS numbers,
Yes.
expressing concerns over our safety of the safety of the children based on the number of the children and the ratios.
The other things, as far as I'm aware, that the DBS check should be done by that organisation, i.e. this club, and that because as far as I'm aware, the DBS checks are not transferable,
No.
or at least they weren't
No.
transferable, so that the organisation itself has to have DBS checks for volunteers or staff for that organisation.
Specifically for.
And
So-
we had to do that for the parish council place scheme, and we had to do that for all the remix.
Yes.
It hasn't specifically DBS for that
Okay.
organisation.
Now, we're going to need to put some sort of time frame on this to get this information, or otherwise the thing's not going to happen, is it? So, does anybody with a little bit more?
Maybe by the next meeting, don't
Yeah, is that
Is that
sufficient
Is that not
time?
too
So-
late?
So we're giving
we?
4
Well, that's
weeks
the
to...
end of
I don't
April.
Yeah.
think it will affect them, none of it.
No, it's okay.
So this is in July, so they will have May and June.
Good.
Yes, so
So what started this all was Susie Jack sent me an email that said Mike. few meetings ago, it was announced at the parish council meeting that play scheme was not going ahead and the £500 was going to be donated to the Summer Holiday Fund Club, as it was last year, so that we run something in its place. Today, I still want to see check. Are you able to let me know where it will be sent to and when, so that I can be sure to keep an eye out for it? So she is the leader, by saying. Many of our expenses need to be made up front, and this money will enable us to proceed with planning the club. So it does sound like there might be some time imposed.
Yes.
Well, I don't know what expenses beforehand.
Could we, just on the finance, could we ask for like an end of scheme? Because obviously they won't have a year's
Yeah, I mean,
income, will they? Because they only started running last year. But surely they would have done an end of year.
well, I asked for their financial paperwork and we got that summary that we were sent.
But that's not.
As I say, if that's all there is, then I would be concerned with financial management. If there's more, then I have to ask why it wasn't sent when we asked for it. But either way, if that's what they want to send us, then probably the best bet is if we give them some money this year, calendar year, then we attach with that and do a requirement that they provide us with proper income and expenditure sheets, to list the numbers of children that attended and so on, so we get some proper information for next year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There were still a number of questions still to be answered anyway, so
So you don't want to do anything on the money until we've got to reply to...
I think if we can get a reply first of all, then we can go back to the...
I mean, can we not say that if we get a satisfactory reply, they can have the money straight away? Can we do that?
The money isn't the issue here, is it? It's the
No,
compliance.
no.
How do we... Obviously, I'm going to send the email. I'll get back to the reply. How do you want me to determine if it's a satisfactory reply?
Well, use your good offices if you
Surely we should
consider
be
it
bringing
be
it back
correct.
to
This meeting.
this meeting.
I
So-
think we did ask for policies though.
So
This
yes.
isn't a policy.
No, it is obviously, but it's only that.
Yeah, but it isn't a policy specifically for
No.
how they'll use the hall, how they'll use the outside, etc., etc.
Sounds all like,
We asked.
sounds all like risk assessments.
Yeah.
Right.
There is
Yeah.
no one on that, that's...
I expected like missing children's policy, and those sort of things
First
that we
aid.
do. Yeah,
Also first aid, it doesn't appear on that.
like we would have.
Breakdown.
I don't know how many
We
policies
could-
we have for placing.
Well, we can
About
also ask for
seven.
a risk assessment policy then, which should cover most of those counts.
So do we already have those policies on hold that we could let them have and just update?
Probably, yeah.
That'd be quite...
I think it's adaptable and they could use those for guidance. I think it's about trying to give them the information to actually do the right thing by the
Yeah.
children and for this
And service the
organisation.
kids, as I say,
Yeah.
it's the... It's
To try and dig out those policies.
Well, if I email Susan Jack and say, a bit concerned the policies are a bit on the light side, and say that we could provide templates from the old ones,
Yeah.
if she wants to contact you,
If she wants to contact me.
okay. And then it comes back to this meeting, but it has to be a quick decision, it's a short meeting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a voting issue, that one is, it's just a...
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
a silly question perhaps, but do I assume that the owners of the village hall have booked the days for these children?
I can only assume
I'm a
so.
bit
I
ironic
assume
about
So
that.
that's the date, so I can assume it's-
I can only assume so.
Okay, is there anything else on the financial report? That's quite interesting, considering it's going to be on 20 seconds.
No, that's it,
Nothing else
isn't
on
it?
that? Okay, have we done a vote on the finance, the figures?
Yeah, we've done
Yeah,
that.
sorry,
Yeah.
That's right.
That is easy bit.
That's easy vote. Okay, we can move straight on to the highways, Janetta.
Yes, there's a number of issues, probably some of it because of the heavy traffic up to Pilgrim's Retreat. There have been some cones sitting in Hogbarn Lane and they've now filled half of the potholes. It's still quite rough. And the resident at Birchall's would Rose has been contacted with me, and Jenny Whittle was at this very poor surface down there. There is going to be a meeting about the lines around the school. The steward got back to me and said that she's going to arrange a meeting with the developers, you know, like the old snagging stuff. And I think it's going to be about the whole part of what's needed. So she'll contact me as soon as it's arranged. And then Tom's got...
Well, only in fact, I did notice that they've done some servicing at Goddington Lane. There's some work that's carrying out there,
Yes,
which was appreciated. The other thing was at the Joint Transportation Board meeting I went to, unfortunately, it was a 3 o'clock meeting. And, well, I had to leave at 5:10 to pick up a child, but at that point they still hadn't discussed the A20, what was happening along there, nor the West Street parking issue. So I've asked Sam Bailey for a limited update on that, rather than being speculative as to what it might be. I think this is a couple of minutes, because the chairman is actually going through the minutes now to make sure they're okay. So we'll wait for those, and I'll let the parish council have those when they come through.
Yeah, and chase Sam up as well. He's got
Okay.
a million and one things on at the moment.
Yes, poor old
so,
Sam.
yeah. Okay, has anybody got any questions at all about this? No?
Can I ask that you speak to whoever clears the drains in Church Road? They are blocked.
Right. Well, that's KCC, isn't it?
Yeah. They've got, four openings, and they're just 2/3 blocked. So if we get heavy rain, there'll be flooding out there then.
Okay. That's great, thanks, James. Okay, next item, which is number 10, which is Lenham Parish